Hello, everyone, and welcome to this literal interview I'm having with Pepe. Pepe is a member of Triggerfish Zone Supremacy, head TO of Sunset Surge, and today we'll just be having a little bit of a talk with him, talk about how Sunset Surge was, a little bit about him as a player, and some questions that people have. So, Pepe, take it away. Introduce yourself a little bit.
Hola, hola. Hey, Rice. I appreciate you for putting me on this amazing interview that you have going on. And yeah, no, like you said, I'm Pepe. I'm mostly known from TCS and pretty much being the founder of like getting all the people in around the Arizona local just together. And I'm just extremely happy to be the main TO and organizer of Sunset Surge. Also, a Suka user. I love Trizuka.
Yes, Pepe with I'm sure I'll put up an image of the Trizuka. Pretty infamous for just making people explode.
I like it. I like the special. Very fun.
All right. So, I guess we can talk a little bit, I guess just about you in general as I guess as a comp player, right? Like what made you start playing comp? What got you into it and like kind of like a little bit of your journey through the competitive scene.
Oh man, we were going all the way back. Yeah, so I was one of those people that initially saw Splatoon 1, the first trailer that Nintendo put out, and I was like, this game looks so silly, and I had like no idea like what to expect. And I was like one of those people that were like a little skeptical, like, oh man, like I don't know if this game is good, but then like the more I see it, the more like I listen and see the trailer, I'm like, okay, this I have to try. And then the moment that I saw and like knew that there was a test fire going on, I was there at the first hour, the first day that it like got put out, and the moment I just touched it, like it was like it was like true love in a very non-weird way. I immediately like just fell in love with the gameplay and just what the series had to do. I was an extreme casual in S1, being a junior one trick, but like I was just enjoying the game. And then in S2, like that's when I was really like interested in like there's an like a competitive scene with this game. And like huge shout outs to Kanai Plus for being my official like first team in that. Started off as a Div 2 player. Div 2 easy claps for those who of you who may remember that era. But yeah, no, I was a part of that era in S2 where like I was in Div 2 and just competing as much as I could within the comp scene. That's just a whole other story. And the moment like I started like with that, I felt like there was something special with the Splatoon scene when it came to competitive. Although like there was just a bunch of like life reflections here and there when it came to like, do I really want to do this? Do I actually want to commit my life into competing in this one game that I put in thousands and thousands of hours in? And it really just came back and forth, like near the end of S2. And now currently in S3, like the only team that I've really been on is Triggerfish Zone's Supremacy. Any other pickups that I've done here and there were just like for fun. But I feel like being part of TZS, shout outs to everyone in my team, like I felt like it was a perfect opportunity for me to like be part of a team that is not 100% committed, though I know that like most of us do want to like actually like play more and practice more, and that's just the harsh thing about our team is that like within our team we don't really have like a lot of time to play with one another, and when we do, it's a great time, but we could definitely like use a bit more time playing. But for me, like I'm just enjoying like every single ounce of opportunity that I can get to play this game competitively, just because like I've been I've been extremely busy with just life and um, school and everything that surrounds it. But I will say this though, my key points that I will get to like within this topic is that ever since I knew about Splatoon lands being a thing all the way back in S1, I'm like, damn, seeing all these videos of people vlogging their events, of like just any kind of media coverage when it came to LAN events. I especially dug even deeper like in S2, back when all those like LANs were being hosted and like for me I was just amazed at like how great it was to see that happening. And for me, I've never actually got into a LAN until the S3 like era. Like I've never done an S2 LAN whatsoever. And I told myself this that if I'm gonna compete and if I'm gonna like make time into this game, I am going to win a major. Like I am going to make sure that all this time that I put into it, it's gonna be worth it. And my God, am I extremely appreciative of the team Mickey Mart with Len, Pincher, and Irito. Like that team, like was just so fun to play with, and playing with them at Genesis X and winning first place is probably one of the most like just biggest highlights of my Splatoon comp career.
For sure. And I was obviously there live to see you guys, and just being one friends with pretty much everyone on that team. I was just really happy for you guys. I think a lot of people weren't expecting for you guys to win. There were definitely some favorites. But you guys kind of just proved that, just as long as you guys have that mentality of just having fun, being there to compete, you guys got extremely far, and you won the whole tournament.
Yes, yes. Thank you, thank you. It was it's truly unbelievable. Like legitimately, like the moment like after we officially won, um, after like a few quirky games and little moments here and there that I won't get to, um, it was just a fun time. And like the moment after we won, I legitimately like I felt like I was gonna start to like tear up just because like of me realizing like, well, my God, like I won a major land. I told myself that I was gonna get to this point, but like actually like realizing that it happened, it was extremely overwhelming, and I'm like in all the good sense, and I'm just and like seeing the medal like in my room, I'm just very happy that I got that huge opportunity with my team there. But yeah, um, it's just a great time.
Yeah, I guess like with that, knowing your background in competitive, right? As you said, just the vibe of lands, just your first one being, I think, in Splatoon 3. I forgot which one was your first one. I think
The first one was in Big House. It
Big
was the
House.
first official like Splatoon 3 only oriented like LAN.
Gotcha. Yeah, and I know from people I've talked to, they always said like, at least when I've asked about Sunset Search, they're like, yeah, Pepe, ever since Pepe went to Big House, had such a fun time, and you just wanted to bring that vibe to the local Arizona area. So like, why don't you talk about, I guess like maybe that experience there at Big House, and then why you wanted to bring that to Arizona.
Yeah, yeah, within my first LAN at Big House, shoutouts to Pork Smork, Star Luigi and Dio, which was my team. Like for me, I personally felt like I did not do like my best. Like with it being my first LAN, I just felt so out of my like skill level. Like and not to say that like I even had a chance to like on my own, but like I we were going off like strong teams at that point. Like that's when like Starburst like started to like go like on their peak. And yeah, it didn't matter like if I lost. It the feeling that I have received and gotten to it, which I honestly did not take full potential, was just the energy that people gain and receive at lands, how hyped they get, how intense the matches do get. Like it's honestly amazing.
For sure. I guess like so clearly you like had that experience and you wanted to bring that to Arizona. I guess um w- you know, a lot of people only really see like the big picture of like, hey, we saw the stream, right? We see like,
Mhm.
oh, you had everything set up, but like bring us behind the scene, right? Like let's go back to I guess even when you were trying to start like the AZ lane, how you try to start Sunset Surge, like what was that process like being just behind the scene, having to talk to like a venue, being like, hey, I want to run a Splatoon event. I guess like bring us into that process of especially if like anyone's ever interested in trying to do this on their own as well.
Yeah, so I'm really glad you asked because, like, literally, I have all of my notes and details here, like, within the background.
Hmm.
So, okay, even on top of like the LAN that I first went over at Big House, even before that, like, I knew the like, man, like, I wish and I hope that there are like events going on here locally that are Splatoon oriented. Like it probably doesn't even have to do with lands, but like at least any like Splatoon like local like meetup or something like that. There was like a few like and by a few I mean like I think there's one that happened like years and years ago, like for the S2 era, but like I had no idea about it. But like I I was just like wanting, like I felt so hungry to just meet people locally because I feel like there's this like magical like feeling, for lack of a better term, that meeting people locally just feels so nice because you get to meet like all the people that you. I have this thought like I've ever had this thought like where I have a feeling like, man, there's no one here in the States that play this game, right? Like
Hmm.
there for the longest time I felt like I must be like the only player that plays in Arizona, right? And my God, am I glad that I was so wrong because the moment that I learned that well-known people like Shiny from Cherry Limeade, CMO, and Crim, like from that moment on, like I just knew that I knew that there was something. Like there must be like more people, right? And so even knowing that there was like top players there, and I then like moved on to like looking in making the community know on Twitter by making a post like, hey, I want to make this happen. Like I'm asking for all the people in Arizona to just get together, uh, making a server happen, and that's when like I knew that Skeppadidins were here, OBT was here, and a lot more other people that I just did not like necessarily know a lot of, but come to figure out that they're so amazing, like all these amazing people that apparently live here in Arizona, like create such a heartwarming community that like it's really hard to explain. Like I'm I'm just glad that I made the choice to make that make that initiation to take a initiative and make people know that hey, there's something going on in Arizona, and everyone who plays Splatoon, it doesn't matter like what level you are, it doesn't matter like how much you play or if you're in comp or not. I don't care. Whatever people like lives here in Arizona that are interested in just being part of a community, that was my goal to just get everyone together. And it was hard to really like find a place to host a LAN event. Like it's pretty hard to just like find like any esports like arena that would like help me host a specific event. And I honestly got lucky. Game on Expo that happens in Arizona. It's the biggest gaming convention event that happens every single year. After COVID happened, which is in 2020, Game on Expo had to cancel the one on that year, and then the one on 2021. But they came back on 2022, and that's when a sign just um a sign like got me like to see that there was this station where an esports arena were to be brought up over in Arizona Surprise called Campfire Esports. I That's when I first met Bo and I believe Andrea too. Like it's hard to believe that like I met the owners like even before like I really got to know them. But yeah, back in August on 2022, I saw Campfire Esports promoting that they're gonna bring out a new venue, and I'm like, okay, hold on now. New venue, new people. They're looking for community to help them with their business. And in my mind, I'm like, okay, this has to be a sign. This has to be like the perfect opportunity. And this was like the same year that Splatoon 3 was going to release, like literally in August, and then the next month the game was like releasing. And so emails were sent back to back with the owner. And it took all the way until next year, till the next year in July 2023 when it actually happened. And all that time, I just thought, okay, I have to promote this. I have to make sure that whatever I do to promote whatever Arizona land was going to be, it's gonna be sick. It's gonna be like literally fire. And that's when like all the gears turned up in my head. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna make a trailer. I'm gonna make my really good friend, one may call it a best friend, Nick. He he was there with me like since like day one, and by day one I mean going all the way back to um what was it? Oh yeah, in California. There was a Splatoon land before SoCali called Splat City or something like that. And this was before Hammer came on the table to like help like California become SoCali. But this specific land, the TO did not even show up, and I dragged my friend Nick to come with me to play with my two other teammates, which then became to be like with my team in TCS. Um, the land was the land was a very shortcut. Like it did not even happen. It was so sad. But like on the drive back, like that's when like I was really like turning my gears. Okay, like this is gonna happen. How am I gonna make this happen? Um, and so with that, like I had to make sure that all the specifics within the land event came to uh reality with like the name, the branding, and then all this stuff. Like I was talking to my friend Nick, and then uh, I'm just glad like that I had someone there with him to like just bounce back ideas, and he's responsible for the Sunset Search logo, and I was just happy to talk to someone so I can logistically think about like how I can make this happen. And after all the promoting, after all the announcements that I made, and after making the Discord server, which now currently has 200, or I think like it has like 200 users in the server, which I'm really happy about. Like I'm I'm just looking back to it and I'm like, dang, I'm just glad that people did come to the tweets. They responded to what I was saying, and all that they had to do was just say yes and be involved in the community, and that just really made my day. It made my days, it made my month. Like it made all of the time, effort, and work that I've put in into making sure that there was an Arizona scene happen, and I don't plan on stopping until further notice, whether it's live or something like that. But yeah, just lots of prepping and the fact that there were other lands that were happening um alongside with mine, Soul Cali, Metro Inc. was doing their own thing, and like just knowing that there were other lands that were trying to work their thing, I was like, okay, I like there was a lot more motivation than I thought, and yeah, just bringing a local scene here is what I feel like was my purpose.
Definitely. I mean, when we just look back to this most recent Sunset Surge, we had 8 teams. We had 2 vendors, which is crazy. And I
Mhm.
think we said a total of like almost 50 people showed up to like, just,
Yes.
not everyone was a player, but they just came to watch.
Exactly. Yeah. Like around 50 people. I can confirm it was 40 plus people, like attendees, both players and just people spectating, and like you said, 2 vendors, an amazing like group of musicians who played like Splatoon music live. But yeah, I couldn't be any happier with
Uh,
the outcome.
and it was amazing for me to even experience it. My trip there was kind of last minute. It wasn't super last minute, but I when I saw you guys announce it, I was like, "Ooh, that seems like a pretty good time." Checked my schedule, and I'm like, "Oh, it's a perfect time," because I was on break from school, and I was like, I love to visit you after you came to Genesis. I have
Mhm.
friends in Arizona that I'd like to visit, so it was a perfect excuse and to just be there and also just help support the local scene.
No, and I'm extremely glad that you did, because everyone absolutely enjoyed having you here in the Arizona scene.
Thank you so much. I guess
Yeah.
I think you pretty much covered this question, but OBT did submit a question saying, "How did you
Mhm.
even get in contact with Campfire Esports about hosting a LAN there? I've never heard of them before."
Yeah. Like same, and I feel like that is the crucial problem that Campfire Esports has. It's not like a insane problem, but I feel like just more people in Arizona do need to know about Campfire Esports just because like their quality there, like everything about them is amazing. And I'm not just saying this because like I work alongside with them with the land and events, but legitimately to them, for both Bo and Andrea, who are the CEO of Campfire Esports, this is a passion project. Like they told me like this is something that they're just doing because it is a passion to them, and it's not necessarily something that they are looking to make like money and like millions and all that. Like they don't have that like mindset that they're gonna make an amazing amount of profit. But of course, like it would be amazing if they get what they deserve back because of their goal within Campfire Esports and making sure that they have enough people coming in to just make sure that they are keeping Campfire Esports up for business. And like I just feel like they truly deserve it since they've been amazing to me and they've been amazing to everyone who has been a TO within their venue.
For sure. I mean, I think we met them when I was at the venue, but
Yes.
they were there the whole time. Maybe except for the cleanup part. But like even then
Yeah, right.
they were there the whole time we were hosting the event. They were so excited to have so many people coming in and coming out, just having that environment at the venue. And I'm sure they were extremely happy. It's because this might have probably like what they envisioned when they have an esports venue.
Mhm. Oh yeah, 100%. Like they're all about couch gaming, like getting people together in one place, and that ideology just worked perfectly within a LAN environment because like literally people get together to game, to compete, and enjoy each other's company while they completely destroy each other in game.
Yeah. All right. Let's move on to another question. This was submitted by Delta. Hi, Delta. um, but going back to the first Sunset Surge, what was your first expectation for Sunset Surge, right? What was like your hope at first? Just going back to, I guess we can go back to every event, but let's start at the first Sunset Surge. What was the first expectation when you hosted it?
Yes, yes. Okay, so the first Sunset Search, oh my god, that was back in July 23rd in 2023. Yeah, I'm I knew that my expectations were not as high, right? Just because like I knew that this was going to be something new for like the community around, and I felt like my expectation was to just get everyone to at least say hi and know each other. But for me, like all that I wanted was just people to genuinely like enjoy each other's time. Having people to commute and knowing the local community is what I feel like is one of the just most important things that I feel like a local community should have is that people just know each other. They know like what they play, like how they're doing, and at least just knowing, even just knowing their names and their weapons. Like that to me is like something that I am just really intrigued about. Just because like for me, like I know that there's like multiple different like styles and within multiple different skill sets. So like within a game like Splatoon, where debatably like there is and there's not like a weapon um word uh what's the word that I'm thinking about like when you express a weapon and you style it like with how you play it but nonetheless it my expectation was to just like get people to know each other, and I feel like after that specific LAN event, that's when it really started to actually feel real. And by real, like I mean like in the sense of like the server was more active and people were like getting games together here and there. And well, for me, like I always try my best to get people to even know each other like within online by having PBs when I could, and most importantly like opens to just so that I can play with people and have others play with the others at the same time. Um, but yeah, I felt like my expectation was met, and that was to just get people to know each other. Logistically though, within the LAN, like I expected like what not gonna lie, like I expected 4 teams, maybe 5, but like that's just because I knew that like the interest was there. It's just knowing like who was able to come was the issue, right? And that's just pretty much any given issue within like a local land specifically, just because it is a local, it is not a major event, and I don't even want to like make Sunset Search a major land event just because I know that not only is the venue not going to be the venue for it, it is just not. But logistically, I feel like locals feel like they feel more close. Like I feel closer with the people that I get to see with like the less of the teams because I get to know the teams even better from the quantity of it, and just seeing the people coming back, the recent people and the common people that I do see, like it's just great to see them progress. And because I think you said Delta that answer this question, I will put Delta on the spotlight. When I saw Delta play in the first Sunset Surge, like I was like, damn, like okay, I've never seen Delta play, and they're okay. But my God, when I say that when I saw them play again on the next Sunset Surge, like this this Delta, like Delta just popped off. I saw the improvement from the first one to I believe the second one in Camp Horror, that like Delta's like skill set just improved drastically. And that's just one example. Like we came from like a place where I know that people say that they are not really necessarily comp players, or that they don't feel like they're getting like in that like higher level of aspect of comp, to now like feeling that they are improving, that the competition is getting there. And I'm gonna quote Shiny on this because Shiny said this like last night in the VC. Shiny said that they actually had to try against the community like within the last Sunset Surge, which was a Blossom Blitz of 2024. And to me, like I'm just glad to like hear and then just shout outs to Shiny for helping the community out with actually like improving their skill set and just Shiny is the one that is helping the community a lot within their skill set. And for me, I do the best that I can, but like it's like kudos to Shiny for being the person that just becomes the teacher and the sensei for the community. Um, but yeah, my expectation is I would say it's extremely well met at this point.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, going back to what you said about like just people knowing each other, the other day I was on Twitter and someone tweeted saying like my best friend that I've been knowing for so long, I just found out that they were like 30 minutes away from me.
Oh
And
my god.
to think about like they could have known about that if some type of local event happened, if something happened around their region that was easily uh, accessible for them to go to meet up, to even be like, hey, I want to go out just to go to this event. And you having that Arizona land, I'm sure some of these people who didn't even know they lived in the same state were like, "Hey, you're here," or like, "Hey, I'm going to this event," and they're like, "Oh, I'm going as well."
Yes, it's very funny you say that. I'm not gonna name who and who, but like two people in specific did say that they live like 10 to 15 minutes away from each other, and they had no idea. And I'm like, yeah, no, that's awesome. Like I feel like that's surprising thing about lands is just like knowing how far or how close you do live to certain people. And for me, like whenever like someone asks, like say Shiny left their headset at Campfire Esports from the last LAN, and I was like, you know what, I'll just do a little trip there to go to their place and just drop it off, and that trust that they have in me to just go and invade their house legally, break in their house and drop off their headsets, like I'm honored and I feel very really happy that I could even do that in the first place to an amazing friend like Shiny.
Yeah, and like again, you would not have known that if you didn't try to make this event, if you guys weren't close enough to be like, "Hey, I trust you coming to my house. Please come and like help drop off something," Like who would have thought, and if this never happened, that would still be a situation that or it still be an interaction you would have with Shiny.
Yeah, no, I would have never thought that would ever be the case. Like I've been telling it to Shiny so many times that I feel extremely lucky that Shiny and like I got like the perfect world seed that I live with like I live next to Shiny, and then now DJ, which is their roommates, and they're like those two in specific. Like I could mention a lot of people from the community. Like I'll be here all day, but I'm just gonna mention Shiny and DJ specifically, just because they've been a crucial part to Sunset Surge, and just those two in specific like have meant so much to me from knowing their background, knowing Shiny alone just by them being from Cherry Limeade, and like hearing their story, how they came to be, how they now have like their own house in which Leche invades most of the time now. Like it's amazing. It's truly of a special thing that I do not take for granted, and when I do, that is when I know that I'm going crazy.
For sure. I think something else you mentioned was like, realistically, Sunset Surge would never be a major. I was at the venue. It's workable as a local, but any more than we had 8 teams and we spent, I believe, 9 hours still running through everything. Just imagine if we had like I'd say like maybe 12 that might run for a full 12 hours.
Oh yeah, no, like at that point, like the format will change, and honestly, like if I can speak about the logistics, while I am happy about how the last land went, there was like a lot of things that could be fixed, and I feel like that just goes without saying within like producing lands that I'm still kind of new to, but then like I am feeling confident like when it comes to like knowing how the subs are done and how to fix them. But
Hmm.
even then, like there was just a ton of things that I, as a TO, needed to fix, which was like the formatting and spacing of the sets,
Hmm.
and most importantly, like I'll say this, like I I was very honored to have the three musicians, Cupid, Dia, and Lycoris, be part of our show, but I could have spaced them out better because I initially having them as grand finals to me was a good thought, but then after some thoughts came afterwards from players, I'm like, okay, I need to make sure that I think about the integrity of competition
Hmm.
and spacing the events and even side events. Like I did not even get to like host the two player one controller, which I'm still really upset about, like on myself that I couldn't like have enough time to do that, and that was just part of like pre-planning everything.
Hmm.
Like as an advice that I have for every single TL out there, like it's specifically Lance, like if you feel like you have planned everything, you probably haven't. Like there's always something else that you need to be aware of, whether that being having extra times to really make sure that the side event does happen, while at the same time making sure that the whole day event just happens, it gets finished, that the tournament ends up successful in a way that it finishes and then leaves an amazing impression within everyone. Like I'm extremely grateful for every single one who attended, participated in every single Sunset Search. Not just the last one, but I know that moving forward, there's going to be a lot more things that I need to logistically think about before I could even consider doing another one, so that I make sure that the quality and everything about the Sunset Search events goes well, and even better than the last one. My ideology when it comes to making every single Sunset Search is that the next one is going to be better than the last one. It doesn't matter what, or it doesn't matter like how I make it happen, but there's always going to be something better, and I'm gonna make that happen to the point to where every single one in the future is just going to have that um sense of quality and to a level that people expect within our local lands.
Yeah, and I think that just speaks a lot about your character as, you're never I want to say never satisfied, but
Yeah.
you always find something to improve on, whether it's like this time we had the live band. You know, it was amazing to have them there. Timing was not great, but that's
Yeah.
something new. That's something like I'm sure people who were there loved it. We were all really into just being part of um just having that live experience there.
Mhm.
um
Oh yeah.
and like similar to what you also said, like with this being a local, this is my first local. Sadly, I've never been to SoCal yet. Just never had
One
the
day.
never had good timing with it,
Uh,
unfortunately. But this is my first local. I've been to two major lands. I've been to Riptide 2023, and I was at Genesis X. Even
yeah.
comparing the two majors, from Riptide to Genesis X, Genesis X had, I'd say, probably half the amount of signups that Riptide did, and
Mhm.
just the venue being different, just the environment being different, but they were both considered majors, so lots of people were there, lots of things were moving. We had to make sure everything was moving, everything was smooth, and everything was like running properly. But being at the local for Sunset Surge, it yes, we had things moving obviously, but No, we had time to just meet everyone at the venue. If I said I met everyone at Riptide, I'd be lying. I don't think I even met
Mhm.
like a fourth of the people. I
Yeah,
think
same.
I think we were both saying, how did we not meet each other at Riptide?
Yeah. I didn't even meet you at all, like, and I had no idea that you were a Riptide, so, like, dang. Yeah, no, that was a surprising thing for sure.
But with this being a local, I had the opportunity to talk to every single player, get to meet everyone there, and it's so much more tight knit. It was like it felt like we were all family and coming to just one place to have a family reunion.
Mhm. Yeah, no, exactly.
Okay. With that being said, let's talk about this, Pepe. Let's talk about the setup,
Huh?
how how crazy it was for you to set everything up. Um,
Oh god.
we'll be completely honest here, Pepe. Did you
Huh?
get any sleep from
Um,
Friday to Sunday?
okay, let's see. From Friday to Sunday. Um, woke up on Friday, right? So I did get some sleep on Thursday, right? I think I did. Oh, yes, I definitely did, because like on Thursday, on April 4th, that was Shiny's birthday.
Mm,
Went home, I actually got sleep. But then on Friday, that's when like I knew, okay, I had to really pick up the pace, because like Friday was only available to me to like get everything all set up at the venue. So I really only truly had like one day to get that ready before the event started. Um, but then after that, I did not get any sleep that Friday night. I did, and on Saturday, like I really only like took a nap. I yes, only a nap, and then I moved on. But like uh when I calculated it, it was like more than 30 plus hours of being awake. And for me, like while I know that is quite unhealthy to do, I don't know how I did not pass out, I'm gonna be honest. But um the dedication and the willpower I just had to just make sure that the land goes well, that comes with the expectation that I want to make sure that, every single land gets improved better than the last one. And for me, like as a TO and as an organizer, like I feel like it was my responsibility to make sure that the land just goes well. And that's without saying that like I did get help. Like it was not just me like organizing the whole setups like here and there, right? Like I was lucky enough to have it was Captain Stabby and Riller who helped me out that Friday night to get things set up. They helped me out tremendously. And then when it was a teardown, I had Nick, Connor Chase, Caleb, Reese was there, and then you were there to put like remember myself in the car. And I'm like, any help, like honestly, like I'm not one to really expect help from anyone. Like I am just extremely grateful for whatever help I do get, because this is not a paid gig. There's no profits that do come out of this, and like any profits that do just gets put into the next Sunset Surge, or the artists that get the commissions for the posters, and whatever else I have in mind that I want to put towards the Sunset Surge. The profits that do come out of it, like I just want to make sure that those alone get to be put on the next one, so that the next upcoming Sunset Surge gets that quality.
yeah, for sure. And like, we you could I mean, I was pretty much there the whole time when you were setting stuff up, tearing it down. But I wasn't there, but
Yeah.
I was of the knowledge of what was going on. And I thought to myself, I'm like, man, Pepe is so dedicated to just it's such a selfless job that you're doing right now of you're staying up all night setting up the venue. Then after everything's done, you're staying up to tear everything down, to put everything back to where it was. I think the owner was talking to you before they left. They're like, all right, just set this up, and it sounds so simple, but when you actually do it, it's like, man, there's a lot of stuff that you need to put into it.
100%. Like there's a whole system. Nintendo does not make it easier for you to host this game like on LAN. There's a lot of implications that you need to be aware of, especially when it comes to the audio. Like I'm I could be talking about this all day, but pretty much like knowing your right equipment and knowing that it is going to work with the space and environment that you're working with is important, or else it is just not going to work. Given the fact that that exact thing happened in the first one, where like we just had a bunch of like connection issues, some audio, and it was just it was absolutely like just horrible of a time. But when it works, there's a relief, and after it does, I'm just like I'm grateful that it works. Like I'm just happy that every single sunset search that we have so far, we have completed the tournaments. It's just a matter of like making sure that they do end at a time that's like not even near midnight, because that's as a TO, like I don't want to go. I don't want to lead the event to go by even around midnight at all.
Mhm.
The goal that I set in my head was just be at 10 p.m. But I mean, when it comes to like the sets themselves, like God, like I people were enjoying themselves just having to game for as much as they could, um, as
Mhm.
from what I saw. But there's that control as well.
Definitely. I mean, I was there to test the setups at in the morning with you. And like everything seemed to work perfectly fine, right? Like I put my
Mhm.
Switch in, put in the headphones, check it out, see if everything's working. And then I don't think even by the time we got to our first set, we were already having audio issues. And that's
Mhm.
like that kind of shows to you like how finicky some of this equipment can be. 1
Oh
second
yeah.
it can work, another second, oh, you didn't plug your headphones in like tight enough. Oh, you don't hear game sound. Someone else hears your own game sound. I think that's something we
Mhm.
had.
Yes. Oh
Um,
God.
your mic doesn't work. It's like, man, the the equipment expensive, and yet sometimes just doesn't work all the time.
Yeah, no, it could definitely be unreliable for sure. Especially like if you're not even troubleshooting the issue and you don't know exactly like what's going on. But yeah, I mean, and on top of like all the gear set up and whatnot, like I was just like on a grind to make sure that the stream also looks fine, like within
Mhm.
all the graphics, all the video previews that you saw before we got into the match. One of the most like happiest things that I've done, and like it can be debated like if it's good or bad because I am gonna use the M word mod switch. Oh no, like I wanted to just make sure that within our land events that there was something special
Mhm.
within like our stream viewership quality, and that was just to like envision like how it looks like to transition from like you seeing the commentators with the map list with the map modes to like having a cinematic view of the map and mode that you're going to see being played out.
No, and I definitely think that's such a touch that I feel like only someone like you who's so dedicated to, bringing that experience, like even if you're not here to feel the environment, even as a viewer, as someone who watched the past 3 sunset surges from my own home, it just felt like such a different experience, right? With the cinematic views, with the modded switch with the nighttime, which like some people might be like, oh, but that doesn't look natural. But it's different. It's unique. It's not something that I'm just gonna copy paste an online stream that could probably run better with higher quality stuff. But no, you're giving a unique viewing experience, giving that just a different vibe.
Yeah, no, and like while yes, it is a huge risk to even use a modded switch of whatever purpose like there may be, um, e- even if it's just a video. Like I was like, you know what? screw it, I'm just gonna try it, and if Nintendo gets to me, then that's when I change my name again. No, I'm kidding, uh, but yeah, like it's it's fun. I enjoy doing stuff like this.
Yeah, and I this probably won't matter too much to Sunset Surge, but like I guess like when those terms of service came out, like I think what was it in October? Wow, it's almost been 6 months since those terms came out. But
Oh yeah,
were you ever nervous when you saw those terms? Like, hey, you have to do this. There can only be a limit of this. I know, like, it's kind of been brushed under the rug nowadays. It's not super. Um, I, I'm sure they'll restrict some of the things, but we haven't gone too far to the point where Nintendo sends us a cease and desist order. But like, was that
right.
when that came out? What was your thought as a LAN TO specifically?
Oh yeah, well when that came out, I was like, well, when I first heard about it, I was like, I did get worried. I was like, oh no, like this is gonna be the end of like all like local lands, not just mine, but like literally every single land that happens within the Splatoon game.
Hmm.
I I did get nervous, but then like after reading through it and like knowing the restrictions of it, I knew that like okay, I don't think we're necessarily going to get the numbers of a major because it more so would affect like the majors since they have more eyes on them. There's more participants there. But even still, like on my end, I was like, okay, you know what? Like I'm not gonna even care about this. I'm gonna bite the bullets, and if it hits, then I can at least say that I did try. And mm, yeah, no, after knowing that, I just was not worried, and I continued on like it didn't even happen.
Sure. And I think that's what a lot of people have been doing, like online events, in person events,
Yeah.
both. And it's it's something for people to be like, or like Nintendo to be like, here, I'm gonna hand you this, stop doing it. And you guys kind of like push through. Like, we all try to follow the guidelines, we try to follow as much as we can. But sometimes, hey, if they're not gonna work with us, we have to do it our own way.
Mhm. Yeah, no, exactly.
And fingers crossed nothing happens in the future.
Fingers crossed.
Fingers crossed.
I'm really hoping. I'm hoping that no one gets hit by the rules. Like sincerely, like I'm. If it ever comes to a date where it does, I will be concerned and I'll be scared for them. But currently, right now, don't think that there has been anyone that has been affected by it.
Mhm.
But yes, I'm hoping that is to be kept that way.
Definitely. Um, I guess that's the main thing with the land stuff. But if, let's per se, someone is interested in doing something like you did, build a community, build a land, like try to make a local scene, what's some advice you would want to give them, like when you were in their shoes, like just have that interest and really passionate about it? What's something you would give? What's advice you would give them?
Yeah. First and foremost, if anyone is out there that feels like there's a local scene out there, the moment you feel it, like just run with it. Um, do not expect for anyone to take that initiation because like it only just takes for someone to say, I'm gonna do it, I'm gonna make it happen. And that could be you. That could literally be the one that you are hearing right now. If you feel like there's some community that could lead within your local state out there, then make it happen, especially for those who don't necessarily have a local scene right now. And my advice to you is do not expect for that first local event to be perfect. Literally, a failure could be your best teacher, and with knowing that you can at least bring people together, that already a bit like that's an amazing start. That's what you need to make it happen if you're looking to make the local scene happen. And look, LAN tournaments don't even necessarily have to happen at all. Like you can have your local scene um become a reality, make a server, have people talk there, and play, and ask to get games with them. Like I felt like I got closer to people just because I did ask them, "Hey, can I play with you? I'm interested in doing open with you." Even turf war, if I've never um I don't. I think I made this sacrifice once to play turf war, but like, no. Other than that, like, just playing with the people within the local scene, like that's awesome. It gets people to really open up because what I will say is that if there is a local scene out there and people are just like, I don't know about this, like they're unsure, like what the people are like, or if they may feel like a bit too shy to even like say yes, I want to play. Like literally just ask and play with those people, and at some point it'll come to a place where they'll become active. And that is exactly what happened to me and Sunset Surge. I am like it's weird. Sunset Surge has become a big part of my life now that like I cannot stop thinking about what I need to do next to build the community and just get people to understand that like, hey, this is something special. And the biggest like reminder that I got was from when Shiny invited people to their house, both Shiny and DJ. They invited the local people to their house for a party, and the turnout was amazing. We even had people, three people specifically, Pick Pickles, Freeform, and Ventus. Pick Pickles drove from Cali to us in Arizona to Shiny's birthday party, and we were there having a great time with all the other Arizona like local people. It was like it felt like a dream. Seeing all the Splatoon players all together in one place, just it felt like a dream come true.
For sure. And we had people who dipped in, had to leave early, but even just people being able to you're happy enough to be like, "Hey, I'm gonna drive out, visit my good friend Shiny for their birthday," and just be able to see that. It's different when people say happy birthday online, but just being able to say it in person, being able to give the person a hug, handshake, anything of that sort of
Oh yeah.
personal interaction. It's amazing for it that goes so far to make people feel
Mm.
like so special.
Oh yeah. 100%. It like I can't say this enough. Like if you feel like there is a local event, a local scene, a local community out there, if you feel like there's nothing there, it's probably you that starts it. And I will say this, like as a negative part, which a negative can be seen like this topic is a good and bad thing, but like if you take the initiative, then you would have the responsibility, or at least ask people to help out with building the local scene, right? For me, I've been um I've been quite solo with the journey of like me just getting things together with the promotions, like the stream, the events, like the logistics, but I do need to get like better with like asking people to help out, which I'm glad that people have with like my friend Nick with the graphics, with the OG squad that helps me like on the setup and campfire, um, and all other sorts of stuff. But be ready to fall under a rabbit hole that you'll encounter because there's a lot more to it when it comes to hosting a LAN event.
Hmm. And I think some people they're willing to do that, but it's as you said, just taking that first step, being the one to initiate it. Because I think if you weren't the one, Pepe, to do it, who knows if there would be some type of
Yeah,
event like Sunset Surge.
Yeah, who knows? Like there could have been, there could have not been. Like I just I just thought like I was not gonna wait for an answer and decided to do it like myself.
For sure. And I guess just one last question from the Twitter chat themselves, a more fun and lighthearted question. From Chuddy, they ask,
Yes.
what was your favorite LAN moment? What is like your favorite moment, either from a local, from one of the majors, just any of the events you've been to for LAN?
Um, gosh, this one comes to mind. Um, this was a local that happened in SoCali number five. This is by far like my favorite land moment, like ever. I played with Shiny, DRF, and Brian. Shout outs to them. But like, I may have gone quite off the wall, and I just decided to just have an amazing time, right? With Shiny, right? In our Sunset Search VCs, whenever we play like in open, we goof off, we have an amazing time. Like we don't take the game seriously, and I feel like it's moments like that that you need to be a competitor. Like make sure that you also have fun with the game, so that you don't like feel washed out or you don't feel burnt out, right? Um, Shiny and I like we make very suspicious comms to each other, and that's pretty much come to known within the AC community as well. Shout outs to Taro for um, really digging deep into our sus comms. But like with Shiny, oh my god, in grand finals of SoCali number five, we played on mincemeat clams, and my goodness, was I just having a time of my life with just calming out extremely suspicious comms. When it came to Shiny using the ink back, there's a lot of different implications when I say comms like Shiny suck my ball, like please suck me. Like I was going all out with that. To which like I normally don't do this. Like if you see me in real life, I'm not that kind of like silly. But in this game, it there's something that just it brings this out to me. But like and then afterwards, um after so many times where a lot of people I'm talking to you Ryan something where people just wanted me to twerk on stream, and a lot of people then followed up with like wanting that as well. I'm like, okay, I technically did it at Genesis, but the camera cut out. So then I had to do it at SoCal. I was like, you know what? This is for the community. I just had to do it. And then I was so lucky that I got Shiny to do it with me. And once we won grand finals, Shiny and I walked up to the comcam, and we just we shut off what God gave to us and to all the people on stream. It was an amazing time. We shook our booties to the stream.
I definitely didn't see all of that live, but I saw all the clips, all the people like, what did Pepe just say? What did Pepe just do? And you were just having a blast, having a good time, and I think that's what people need to remember about being at a LAN. It's like, yes, winning is fun, but having a blast with your team, having a blast just saying random things with your friends, like that's what it's all about when you're at such an event.
Yeah, exactly. Just having fun with the game is always like it's an important thing. Um, and taking this game seriously can also be fun. Like it really just like it depends on the person. And for me, like I also like to take this game to a serious point to where comp level, like my goodness, like I'm playing with top players and I'm really enjoying my time. Just like getting to be like part of those games. And yeah, like I'm I'm just here like with the thought that like, you know what? I only live once. I'm just gonna enjoy my life while I'm living.
And you know, I appreciate you spending this time doing this interview with me, Pepe. We've been talking for an hour. Wow, that
It's
felt
really been
like
an hour.
it's yeah,
Dang.
it's really been an
Oh
hour
my god.
already. But
Oh
yeah,
shoot.
any closing thoughts, anything you want to shout out, anyone you want to say like or say anything, feel free. The field's all yours.
Oh goodness. That is a big question, and the answer that comes to mind was it's just it's I'm just super grateful about Campfire Esports, Andrea and Bo. Like literally, like I would have not been able to make Sunset Search happen literally without their venue. I don't know what other options there could have been, if there is one. So huge shout outs to them. Like I don't give them enough credit. And another person that I do not give enough credit is Riller. He is the one behind SpecCam, and then you, Rice, you also like helped me out with the SpecCam on the last Sunset Surge, and I'm like literally like even task like that being part of like helping me out with doing SpecCam helps out so much, with the person like controlling behind the stream. And any other shoutouts? Well, there's a lot to name, but like, I mean, just the whole Arizona community. Whether you play a lot when I ping for open, or if you're part of the community within the server, the support, the word of mouth, if you came to a LAN, like literally all those people, I never expect for people to be active. And for those who are, I'm just appreciative that there are people who are active and do want to play. Just the sheer fact that the local community is now growing even more and getting to know more people is such a great feeling. And while I know this game and Splatoon, like we don't know what's gonna happen next, my hope is that we are going to stick no matter what happens with the series, and we'll see what happens. Well, I'm just here for the ride now. I've took the initiative. Now I will continue to still host, but I'll of course now go along with the ride with you guys on the community aspect.
For sure. You're the one who started it, and the community is what really builds this. And it, you're, although you're the one who started it, the rest of the people in the server, people I met that wanted the like people like me who, I'm like, hey, Sunset Surge is happening. Why don't I try to find a way to go? Because just of the community that's there, it's like it's such a I don't even know what to really say here, but it's such a surreal uh feeling.
100%. And I'm really glad that you came by, Rice, and saw what our lands were
Yeah,
about. And of course, like it'll be better and better the more it comes 'cause of all the lessons and things that I know need to get better.
of course. And thank you for having me. I guess just last thing, where can people find you if they ever want to, like, if they're interested in doing the land thing themselves? Where can they contact you? Where can they find you?
Yeah. If people want to find me, my Twitter is at Pepe underscore Pep underscore P. And if you guys want to see the Sunset Search Twitter page, you guys can find it at Twitter at Sunset Surge, sorry, at Sunset underscore Search. That's where you can find all the Sunset Search related things, and that's where you'll find like the Discord server and whatnot. And my DM should be open on Twitter. So yeah. Also, one last final shout out as well. Like Hammer has been there with me when both her and I have been creating SoCali and Sunset Surge, and like the motivation and just going back and forth with like our ideas and whatnot for our local lands have been extremely amazing, and I feel like a crucial part to my sense of motivation that I needed at that time. So huge shout outs to SoCali and the main TL behind it, Hammer.
And thank you, Pepe, for being here. Um, Again, if I'll have all of those things that you just talked about either briefly be on screen, but I'll also have
Yeah.
it in the video description. People are interested. Again, I I'm just here for the I'm just here super appreciative of you taking the time out of your day to do this.
Yeah, of course, of course. I appreciate you guys for doing this. Thank you.